Hello, I'm Essay, your AI essayist. Please note that all content, audio and video in this presentation are AI generated. As AI can sometimes produce inaccuracies, I encourage you to verify any factual information presented. With that in mind, let's begin.
Here begins the essay, Emery John Stephen Smith's 1885 treatise on the arithmetical invariance of the product of linear homogeneous forms. It stands as a pivotal contribution to the theory of algebraic forms, a territory rich in complexity and abstraction. This essay undertakes a detailed examination of Smith's work, analysing the claims presented within each section, evaluating his methodologies, and highlighting the lasting significance of his insights. We aim to provide a comprehensive evaluation of Smith's arguments, thereby illuminating his contributions to the study of number theory and invariant theory. Section 1, Introduction and Preliminary Definitions. Smith commences his investigation with an introduction to the problem of determining arithmetical invariance of products of linear homogeneous forms. He begins by establishing fundamental definitions concerning linear forms, their products, and the concept of arithmetical equivalence. Smith highlights the challenge of characterizing those quantities of remain unchanged under unimodular substitutions, transformations that preserve the integer nature of variables and coefficients. He implicitly asserts that understanding such invariance is crucial for classifying and distinguishing different forms within an arithmetical framework. Smith builds upon prior work by mathematicians such as Lagrange and Gauss, suggesting his intention to extend these earlier investigations into more general scenarios involving forms of higher degree and with multiple variables. Central to the introductory claims is his implied intention to move beyond geometrical or analytical invariance, specifically targeting those properties intimately linked with the arithmetic properties of integer coefficients. Smith's approach emphasizes the importance of considering the underlying integer lattice and how transformations act upon it, a viewpoint that distinguishes his work from primarily algebraic treatments of forms. Smith implicitly argues for the necessity of employing number-theoretic techniques to address the problem, signalling a departure from purely algebraic approaches in the study of invariance. Section 2 on the representation of integers by products of linear forms. Smith proceeds to examine the representation of integers by products of linear forms. Here, he makes the claim that the number of distinct representations of a given integer by such a product can be related to certain arithmetical invariants associated with the linear forms themselves. His analysis hinges upon the properties of divisors and the structure of the multiplicative group of integers modulo a given number. Smith endeavours to establish a connection between the factorization properties of integers and the representation of these integers by a specified product of linear homogeneous expressions. This section contains the implicit assertion that the study of integer representation provides a concrete way to uncover and characterize arithmetical invariance. He is particularly interested in the case where the linear forms are linearly independent, so the product has a well-defined determinant. Smith implicitly suggests that the determinant will play a pivotal role in establishing the relationship between the number of representations and the invariance. Central to the argument is the concept of primitive representations, where the greatest common divisor of the variables is 1. Smith implicitly claims that primitive representations are the key to isolating the essential arithmetical features relevant to invariant characterization. Section 3, the concept of equivalence and transformation groups. Smith directs his attention to defining equivalence between products of linear forms. He introduces the notion of unimodular transformations, which are invertible linear transformations with integer coefficients and determinant equal to 1. Two products of linear forms are considered equivalent if one can be transformed into the other by applying such unimodular transformation. Smith posits that equivalence classes under these transformations are fundamental objects of study in number theory. Smith's claim is that the invariants remain unchanged when applied to equivalent products of linear forms, thereby clarifying the relevance of these invariants. He argues that by analysing equivalence classes, mathematicians can reduce the complexity of studying individual forms and instead focus on representative elements within each class. The introduction of modular forms allows Smith to connect his algebraic analysis with deeper numerical investigations, offering a powerful connection between seemingly disparate fields. Smith underscores the group structure underlying unimodular transformations. He implicitly asserts that the properties of this group, particularly its subgroups and their invariants, are crucial for understanding the equivalence relations between forms. Smith meticulously lays down the framework for understanding transformations and their effect on forms, setting the stage for the detailed analysis of invariants in subsequent sections. Smith is effectively proposing a reductionist approach rather than studying the infinite variety of forms. Focus on the fundamental building blocks represented by equivalence classes. Section 4 Arithmetical invariants under unimodular transformations. Smith begins a detailed examination of specific arithmetical invariants that remain unchanged under unimodular transformations. He focuses on the determinant of the product of the linear forms. As an example, Smith demonstrates how the determinant is indeed invariant, proving the preservation of the determinant through the application of unimodular substitutions. Smith asserts that other similar invariants can be constructed and identified. His approach involves careful algebraic manipulation and the application of number-theoretic principles. Smith's claim is that the arithmetical invariants are the cornerstone for classifying and distinguishing products of linear forms. He also begins a detailed study of the discriminant of the product of linear forms. Smith emphasizes how particular invariants can reveal deep connections between the arithmetical properties of the coefficients and the overall structure of the form. Throughout this section, Smith implicitly develops a methodology for constructing such invariants, emphasizing the importance of algebraic manipulations and skillful applications of number-theoretic identities. Essentially, Smith is arguing for a systematic approach to the discovery and characterization of invariants, offering a roadmap for future investigations. Smith explores the connections between invariant theory and the theory of algebraic Section 5 Composition of forms and the invariant class group. Smith explores the concept of composition of forms and its relation to invariant class groups. He argues that certain operations can be defined on equivalence classes of forms, leading to the construction of a group structure. Smith's claim is that this group structure offers important insights into the relationships between different classes of forms and their associated invariants. He investigates the composition of binary quadratic forms, a special case where the group structure is particularly well understood. Smith implicitly suggests that the general case of products of linear forms will exhibit similar, albeit more complex, group-theoretic behavior. Smith's analysis involves careful consideration of the coefficients of the forms and the rules governing their composition. He shows how the invariants of the composed form can be expressed in terms of the invariants of the original forms. Smith argues the study of invariant class groups is essential for understanding the overall structure of the space of forms and their arithmetical properties. In essence, Smith proposes a powerful framework for analyzing forms, connecting their invariants with the algebraic structure of class groups. This innovative approach paves the way for deeper investigations into the arithmetical properties of forms. Smith builds on work of earlier mathematicians, particularly Section 6 on genus of a product of linear forms. Smith introduces the concept of the genus of a product of linear forms. He argues that forms belonging to the same genus share certain fundamental arithmetical properties, even if they are not strictly equivalent. Smith's claim is that studying the genus of a form allows for a broader classification scheme than simply considering equivalence classes. He relates the genus of a form to its behavior modulo various integers. Smith asserts that forms in the same genus exhibit similar residue characteristics. Smith's analysis involves intricate calculations involving modular arithmetic and the properties of quadratic residues. He implicitly suggests the genus provides a more coarser-grained classification, capturing essential arithmetical similarities while ignoring finer distinctions. Smith is essentially broadening the scope of the investigation, moving beyond strict equivalence to consider a weaker form of similarity based on modular arithmetic. The concept of genus allows for a more nuanced understanding of the relationships between different forms. Smith is essentially proposing a hierarchical classification scheme with equivalence classes nested within genera. This framework facilitates a more comprehensive understanding of the landscape of forms. Section 7 Applications to binary quadratic forms. Smith applies his general theory to the specific case of binary quadratic forms. He demonstrates how the invariants he has identified can be used to classify and study binary quadratic forms in detail. Smith shows that his general theory provides a unifying framework for understanding the classical results on binary quadratic forms. Smith's claim is that his theory offers new insights, even into well-studied areas. His analysis involves intricate calculations involving the discriminant of the quadratic form and its representation of integers. Smith provides concrete examples illustrating the application of his theory. Smith implicitly suggests that the study of binary quadratic forms provides a valuable test case for evaluating the effectiveness of his general theory. In essence, Smith is showcasing the power and versatility of his approach by applying it to a familiar and well-understood setting. This section provides a tangible demonstration of the benefits of his abstract theory. Smith illuminates the connections between classical results and his innovative framework. Section 8 Further considerations on the invariants under composition. Smith delves deeper into the properties of invariants under composition. He investigates how the invariants of composite forms relate to the invariants of the original forms, developing more refined relationships. Smith argues that the composition of forms provides a powerful tool for generating new forms with predictable invariants. He explores the structure of the invariant class group in more detail, identifying important subgroups and their properties. Smith's analysis involves sophisticated algebraic manipulations and the application of group theoretic principles. He implicitly suggests that the structure of the invariant class group reflects the underlying arithmetical properties of the forms. In essence, Smith is uncovering the deep connections between the algebraic structure of the class group and the arithmetical behavior of the forms. This section reveals a deeper understanding of the relationships between invariants and the composition operation. Smith emphasizes the role of composition in generating new forms with specific arithmetical properties. Section 9 on the number of classes in a genus. Smith addresses the problem of determining the number of classes within a given genus. He argues that the number of classes in a genus is related to certain arithmetical invariants of the genus itself. Smith's claim is that this number provides a valuable measure of the complexity of the genus. His analysis involves intricate calculations involving modular arithmetic, quadratic residues, and the theory of elliptic functions. Smith implicitly suggests that the number of classes in a genus reflects the distribution of forms within that genus. Smith is essentially tackling a central problem in the theory of forms, seeking to quantify the diversity within a single genus. He is employing advanced mathematical techniques to address this problem. Smith emphasizes the role of modular arithmetic and elliptic functions in determining the number of classes. Section 10 on the distribution of forms within a genus. Smith widens the scope to examine the distribution of forms within a genus. He argues that the forms within a genus are not uniformly distributed, but rather exhibit certain patterns and regularities. Smith's claim is that understanding these patterns provides deeper insights into the arithmetical properties of the forms. His analysis involves intricate calculations involving modular arithmetic, quadratic residues, and the theory of analytic functions. Smith implicitly suggests that the distribution of forms within a genus is influenced by the underlying structure of the integer lattice. Smith is moving beyond simply counting the number of classes to examine the more nuanced question of how the forms are arranged within the genus. He is employing sophisticated analytical tools to address this problem. Smith emphasizes the role of analytical functions in understanding the distribution of forms. Section 11 on the representation of primes by products of linear forms. Smith turns to the representation of prime numbers by products of linear forms. He argues that the representation of primes is closely related to the arithmetical invariants of the forms. Smith's claim is that specific invariants can predict or determine the conditions under which a prime can be represented. His analysis involves intricate calculations involving modular arithmetic, quadratic residues, and the theory of algebraic number fields. Smith implicitly suggests that the representation of primes provides a sensitive probe into the arithmetical properties of the forms. Smith is tackling a fundamental problem, exploring the connections between the structure of forms and their ability to represent prime numbers. He is utilizing advanced techniques from algebraic number theory. Smith emphasizes the role of algebraic number fields in analyzing the representation of primes. Section 12, Generalizations and Future Directions. Smith concludes his treatise by discussing possible generalizations and directions for future research. He suggests that his theory can be extended to more general types of forms and to forms with more variables. Smith identifies several open problems and challenges, stimulating continued investigation into the area. Smith's claim is that his work provides a solid foundation for further research in the theory of arithmetical invariants. Smith is laying out a roadmap for future investigations, encouraging other mathematicians to build upon his work. He identifies several areas where his theory can be extended or refined. Smith emphasizes the importance of continued research in this area. Smith's on the arithmetical invariants of the product of linear homogeneous forms stands as a monumental achievement in the intersection of number theory and invariant theory. His meticulous exploration of arithmetical invariants, coupled with his innovative use of group theory and modular arithmetic, provides a powerful framework for classifying and understanding algebraic forms. While some aspects of his work have been superseded by more modern approaches, the profound influence of his ideas continues to resonate throughout the mathematical landscape. Smith's tireless pursuit of arithmetical invariants has enriched our understanding of the fundamental properties of numbers and their representation by algebraic forms. His detailed section-by-section exposition of his ideas, combined with his careful analysis of specific cases, renders his work a profound contribution to mathematics. He provides a lasting model for future research.
We really appreciate you tuning into this AI-powered presentation. Our goal is to push the boundaries of AI in content creation, and your input is invaluable. If there's a particular subject you'd like to see us tackle next, or if you have suggestions on how we could fine-tune our AI's creative prompts, please don't hesitate to leave your ideas in the comments section. We're excited to bring you more unique content very soon.